Welcome to my LGBT lesbian channel. The series Checkmate, Stripper and Dance for Me are voiced for you in full history. Thank you for your comments, reactions and subscription to my channel. Have a nice day everyone. Camilla approached, standing in front of me. Why do you think that? I feel it. We were close to the point of almost having a physical contact. Camilla had a challenging look, just like the one she used in that hotel room in Mount Vernon. I'm great, Carla, I spoke quickly, eliciting a smile from her. Is Carla really your name? I asked curiously. You think I use fake names around, Agent? No, Mrs. Collins, I'm Carla Camilla, Lauren. Don't think that I'm using fake names around. I have nothing to hide. No, people sometimes like to use other names just to get away from reality, at least for a little bit. I said, frowning in her direction. No, I don't have a kind of double life or something like that. What could I hide? That I am a stripper? Camilla asked, laughing. I shrugged, entering her game. Camilla smiled cynically. You are in the wrong story, Yaregui. I'm Carla Camilla Collins. I know that very well now. You do? Camilla inched closer. I do. I just can't understand what you want from me. I spoke seriously, trying to keep the last thread of sanity I had left. Camilla was frowning, as if she didn't understand what I was referring to. What are you talking about, Agent? Carla, I held her arm with a bit of force. Our eyes met in a piercing and intense way. It hadn't been a good idea to enter that path. I felt that I could falter at any instant. What do you want with this? -1 asked, squeezing more. She looked at her arm, which was being squeezed by my hand, and then to my eyes. When then the door opened, and I quickly let go of her. I want you to unravel this case, Agent Yaregui. Those were her words as she sat on the chair. I swallowed hard, and stared at Allison, who had a suspicious expression on her face. I already got what we need for today, Lauren, Allie said, alternating her gaze between Camilla and me. Then let's leave. It was a pleasure, Mrs. Collins. Camilla took on an imposing pose. Anytime, Agent. I walked away from the window, walking towards the door. Lauren? Camilla called, making me hold my breath. My steps were in the same instant interrupted before turning towards the woman. Can you please grab that remote control? I nodded and slowly picked up the air conditioner remote control that was thrown on the couch. I walked back to the table, where Camilla was, handing her the object, which in the same instant she grabbed. Thank you, she said before pressing the small button, turning on the air conditioner that cooled down the entire environment. I frowned as I stared at the object that, contrary to what I thought, was working perfectly well. I looked at Camilla, who bit her lower lip, letting out a smile right after. Son of a bitch. I shook my head and let a naughty and totally involuntary smile appear on my lips. I left the room accompanied by Allie, that didn't seem to understand the situation very well. Did something happen, Lauren? The smaller one asked with curious eyes. My thoughts wandered through the sensual image of Carla on the table, blowing the damned and delicious cleavage. I shook my head, pushing away such ideas from my head. Nothing happened, I said as I pressed the elevator button with certain force. Are you sure? You seem nervous. Allie spoke as she put the small amount of papers inside her briefcase. Yes, I'm just thoughtful with this case. It's going to be harder than I thought. Keep the focus on what really matters, Lore. Everything will work out if you know which strategies to use. I looked at the blonde who seemed to have understood the situation very well. But Allie was too discreet to say something, and it wouldn't be me the one to start a conversation about something I wanted to forget, right? I just nodded, getting out of the elevator as soon as the doors opened. Camila Cabello's point of view. Through the tinted glass wall of the building, I had the view of the central parking lot of Collins Enterprise. Within minutes I saw Agent Yaregui's body in sight, next to Agent Brooke. My eyes couldn't distance themselves from that woman, as if they needed to analyze every one of her movements. Lauren was becoming a dangerous and exciting game, and I confess that those were my favorites. Agent Yaregui, I touched the glass with the tip of my finger. You shouldn't have shown up. Lauren unlocked her car, letting the blonde beside her enter it. The brunette took off her leather jacket, throwing it inside the car, to then tie her dark hair in a sloppy bun. The bad girl pose only made her more attractive. Camilla, you are crazy, I said to myself, before feeling my phone vibrate. I grabbed it from the table. It was vibrating restlessly. Hello? Camilla, I'm calling so you don't forget our lunch. I'm already on my way. All right, I'll arrive in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, Carlos, my driver, was parking my black Rolls-Royce Phantom in front of one of my favorite restaurants in Manhattan. The properly uniformed driver left the vehicle and walked to my door, gently opening it. Mrs. Collins, he spoke as he extended his hand with the white glove for me to get out of the car. Thank you, Carlos. One of the restaurant employees quickly approached to welcome me. Good afternoon, Mrs. Cabello. Your table is already ready, with your companion waiting for you. I just nodded, while being guided to one of the tables. From a distance I could see Dinah's blonde and voluminous hair. My best friend seemed entertained, savoring the red wine that one of the employees served her. Did I take long? -1 asked as I put my purse on one of the chairs, to then sit facing her. A little, as always, she said with a smile. I rolled my eyes and settled into the comfortable chair. Any problem? You are never late, Dinah said before dismissing the waiter. I was in the company. I went to welcome the 2 agents who are handling the investigation. Investigation? Dinah arched one of her eyebrows. Yes, it seems that Colin's system was hacked. Someone is stealing. Dinah stared at me for a few seconds, somewhat uncomfortable. Is everything all right? The brunette smiled and waved to the waiter. Of course, why wouldn't it be? She asked. Dinah Jane was my best friend for years. She was always with me in the best and worst moments of my life. Some say that we are practically sisters, even without having any kind of blood tie. But what were blood ties near sisterhood ties? Dinah always knew all of my secrets, and always kept them. Supporting me in every decision, except my marriage. It wasn't news that my best friend had a certain dislike for Christopher. It wasn't from today that I tried to circumvent the situation. I didn't want to have to choose between one of the two. But there were things impossible to circumvent. Our lunch went tranquil, in a pleasant conversation. We talked about the day-to-day. I answered some curious questions about Collins Enterprises case and everyday topics. But Dinah seemed a little tense, or even anxious. The frantic movement of her leg shaking under the table was causing me stress. Do you have any problem? I already said no, Camilla. You are tense, I said when I put my glass of wine on the table. Your impression. I shrugged and went back to cutting the shrimp in white sauce on my plate. I heard the small beep of her phone, and she grabbed it from her purse, unlocking the screen. It was probably just a text, and she quickly replied. Dinah seemed tense since the moment I sat down at the table. I just didn't know why. In a small instant she answered, and turned her attention back to me. Tell me more, is there any possibility of finding something in this investigation? I frowned at her, while wiping the corner of my lips with the white napkin. I don't know, there's something that is stealing my attention in this whole mess. I let out with a smile. What? The person who is investigating. What do you mean? Do you remember, Lauren Yaregui? I asked as I savored a bit of red wine. That name sounds familiar. It's because it is. Lauren was the woman I was with in Mount Vernon. Oh, your threesome experience? I let out a chuckle. Exactly. Do you have any idea of how surprised I was to see her? Camilla, what did you do? So far nothing, Hanson. Lauren is focused on investigating the case, which is very good. It shows that she's a competent agent. Dinah rolled her eyes, shrugging. But I want her to focus on something else. God, I feel sorry for that agent. I bit my lip at the memory of how nervous Lauren got in my presence. She can handle it, I'm sure. Dinah nodded, letting out a sigh. I need to go now. But already? I asked, surprised. The Beyonce nodded again as she looked at her phone. Yes, I have an important commitment. Do you want to tell me about it? She smiled and got up from the chair. It's not a big deal, Mila. A little problem that I have to solve. We haven't even finished our conversation, Jane. I promise that we'll do that later, she said as she put the strap of her purse on her left shoulder, to then leave. Dinah Jane's point of view. I left the restaurant quickly, heading towards my car. I entered the white Cherokee Jeep and started the engine. I grabbed my phone to answer another new text that I had received, before speeding out of there. The chaotic traffic made me stop in the damn first traffic light. The row of cars made me lose patience quickly. I lowered the volume of the music that was playing in the car as soon as my phone started ringing. In the same instant I answered it. I know, I huffed. Don't worry, I'll meet you tonight. I closed my eyes listening to the furious voice on the other side of the line. I couldn't now. I'll go after information soon. All right. See you later. I hung up to quickly dial another number. It rang once, twice, and at the third time the person answered. Red alert. I'm going to need your help. Meet me in an hour in the same place as usual. Oh. If you like that I voiced the continuation of the series Stripper and want me to continue, please like and write a comment on the video. This will be an incentive to continue working on translation and dubbing.